Hello, in this video I shall be discussing 5 topics. The first topic is Madur floor mats. Madur floor mats are made in West Bengal. Recently these are in news because two women who weave these mats, they got National Handicraft Award. So this is a major thing with respect to Madur floor mats. They are specially indigenous and they are especially belonging to this particular state of West Bengal. And in West Bengal they belong to Medinipur district. These are also called Madur Kati mats because they are made from this reed by name Madur Kati or Madur Kottir. So Madur Kottir or Madur Kati reed is used to make these floor mats. And this reed belongs to this family of Cyperaceae. So Cyperaceae family, they have sledges. The plants of this family, they are called sledges. So the reeds of this particular Madur Kati and Madur Kottir, they are used in making Madur floor mats, and they are their major rural economy things for this part of Medinipur district in West Bengal. So because of their contribution to that rural area for their economy and because of the prominence of this indigenous traditional mat weaving, two women from that area got National Handicraft Award who weave these Madur floor mats. That is how it is in news. The next topic is Panjshir Valley. Panjshir Valley is in Afghanistan, especially in the north central part of Afghanistan. And it is also closer to Kabul in Afghanistan, nearly 150 kilometers away from Kabul. And this Panjshir Valley is in this Hindu Kush mountain ranges in Afghanistan. Hindu Kush mountain ranges are a very important mountains. They start from central part of Afghanistan, they go to northern part of Pakistan, and then they go to Tajikistan. So that is how they travel. And Hindu Kush mountain ranges, they are the westernmost part of our Himalayas, and Pamir mountains, and also Karakoram ranges. So they are the westernmost extensions of these many mountains. So Hindu Kush mountains are major geographical places in Afghanistan. So this Panjshir Valley is in between these mountains, and a river also flows through that valley called Panjshir River. This is very important in news presently because there are around 1 lakh people of Afghanistan. Afghans are located there, and amongst them most of them are Tajiks belonging to Tajikistan. So Tajiks in Afghanistan mostly live in that particular valley. This is in news because there are anti-Taliban militants. We know the way the Taliban is acting in Afghanistan right now, but there are some terrorist organizations. They are anti-Taliban. So they want to build up their terrorist organizations in that particular area of Panjshir Valley where there are 1 lakh Afghans living. So this is a major thing because of the retrieval of US deployment from Afghanistan. These terrorist groups are rising over there in Afghanistan, especially in this valley of Panjshir. So a new terrorist organization is coming up there, which is a stronghold of these anti-Taliban militants. So this is how it is in news. The next topic is Oslo I Accord. Oslo I Accord is related to Israeli-Palestinian conflict. We know about the conflict about Israel and Palestine. So there is this accord of Oslo I, and of course this is an accord out of two. So there are pairs of one pair of Oslo Accords, that is two Oslo Accords, Oslo I and Oslo II. Here we have completed 28 years of Oslo I Accord, so we are speaking this in news. And this Oslo I Accord, Oslo, it is a particular place in Norway. This Oslo I Accord took place on August 20th, 1993. That was when the negotiations for this accord took place. And the hosting institute was Fafo Institute, and all the negotiations happened in Oslo, Norway. And the host was Fafo Institute. After that, after 1 month, in September 1993, September 13th, this Oslo I Accord was signed. It was signed not in Norway or Oslo, but it was signed in the USA, Washington, D.C. So here the government of Israel and the Palestinian Liberation Group, both of them signed together agreeing to this Oslo I Accord. But the conference that gave way for Oslo I Accord's negotiations and all of it started in 1991 in Madrid conference. That was the start point to discuss about Oslo Accords. This is to give some lasting peace process between Israel and Palestinian areas, and numerous negotiations took place prior to signing of this accord. Finally it was finalized and signed by both groups. And this Oslo I Accord is about DOP-ISGA, that is Declaration of Principles. It is in short called DOP, Declaration of Principles, and this is the extension of Interim Self-Government Arrangement. So Oslo I Accord is about Declaration of Principles of forming some interim self-government arrangement. So the Oslo I Accord is in 1993 and Oslo II Accord happened in 1995, that was in Egypt. So now as we have completed 28 years of Oslo I Accord, we are speaking about this. The next topic is Tezu Airport. Tezu Airport is in India. It is in news because of some project, and as part of that the importance given to that airport. We'll speak about that. Tezu Airport is in Arunachal Pradesh in India. And this place of Tezu is the easternmost tip of the whole of India. This is in the Lohit district of Arunachal Pradesh. Now this is in news because it is included in the aviation map of India. So far it's not included in the aviation map. Now it is included because of the first commercial flight landing over there. This is taken up for development as part of UDAN scheme or UDAN project by the Government of India. And under this project, northeastern connectivity is improved, especially to these northeastern regions and mainland India between these places. So after this UDAN project or scheme has come, this is the 7th domestic destination from northeast part of India. So for some knowledge, UDAN project is about boosting regional connectivity and especially between northeast and mainland India. So as part of that, Tezu Airport is recently now developed. The last topic for today is International Day for the Remembrance of the Slave Trade and its Abolition. So this particular day is about abolishing slave trade, and this International Day for the Remembrance of Slave Trade and its Abolition is observed every year on August 23rd annually. Even this year it is observed. This day is designated by United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. So UNESCO designated this day. This is for ending transatlantic slave trade. In the past, there was an agitation against transatlantic slave trade, that is slave trade across Atlantic Ocean. So that happened in 1791. So there was a huge unrest or conflict in this area of Santo Domingo. So Santo Domingo is not called thus now. It is the part of, we call it Haiti and the Dominican Republic. So this part has converted to these two places. So in 1791, this unrest took place against transatlantic slave trade. So during this period of 20 to 23rd August in 1791. So the men and women who lost their lives or who stood for the cause of slaves and for against this trading of slaves between the Atlantic Ocean or across the ocean, in remembrance of all of them and their contribution to the abolition of slavery and inhumanity, this day on August 23rd is observed as International Day for the Remembrance of Slave Trade and its Abolition throughout the world, according to or with the call of the UNESCO. But the main trade, slave trade, for which the agitation took place was happening in transatlantic region. So that was the place, and the place of conflict was Santo Domingo, that is right now Haiti and the Dominican Republic. So these are all the 5 topics for today, and thank you.